what we'll be learning in this session, and what is this course designed for, and what are the services does it offer. Okay, so whom does this course apply for? This course is mainly or will apply people who are looking to start up their career as a Dynatrace administrators, or who needs to enhance their skills in Dynatrace administration, get the performance testers to gain more insight how Dynatrace helps them in solving the problems what they encounter in an application development, how to fix the application issues. Being a DevOps engineer, how does it help you to optimize your services? How do you improvise your application availability? Okay, and also for a high level management, what is that role it provides us for high level management of an organization? What is the insights that it can give you for your organization data, and what is that you have been doing for the all the issues have been reported, and how people have been working on solving it. So these are something you'll be learning over the course. Okay, and this also helps for people who want to crack the Dynatrace certification exam. Okay, anybody who looking for a job to get an job as an administrator or as a developer in Dynatrace, this course would really help for them, and it has been made for them. Okay, and again, as I said, for the performance tester who like to enhance their skills in Dynatrace, because Dynatrace is something the product it's been quite a buzz in market now. The reason behind many organization, many large scale organization have been employing Dynatrace for their infrastructure monitoring, performance testing, application testing during the design phase, development phase, all these phase. Okay, so what does it help with the organization by employing Dynatrace? This helps organization to provide a better solution, develop an optimized product before they go into the market, right? Dynatrace helps them to solve all these products and make a better product. Okay, we'll also be sharing few tricks or few tips on how to crack an interview, which is associated with either you could be an Dynatrace administrator or a performance tester, DevOps engineer, SRE engineer. So we'll be sharing few contents on those aspects as well. Okay, where we would help you on what are the common questions that been asked for a Dynatrace administrator, or if you want to go for a Dynatrace interview. Okay. Okay, starting off with the content, I'll just explain you what are the course content we'll be covering. Okay, yeah, before we start off with that, do you have any questions? I'll just give a pause here. Let me know if you have any questions here. Okay, great. I'll take that as a no. Let's proceed further.
Hi,
Okay,
hi, sir.
yeah,
Yeah, so Dynatrace is the licensed tool, right?
correct.
So here, yeah, so here we can expect like right from deployment to the highly configured Dynatrace training.
Yes. So Dynatrace is a licensed product. So you do get a trial version with the limited license time. So we would
Mm-hmm.
be leveraging that in trial version, and would be showing how to do things or what are the things available in Dynatrace. So for an on-prem installation, it's a licensed product. We don't get as a trial version for it. So I'll be showing you how to do the managed or on-prem installation of the product, and what all the functionality it has and how does it work. Yeah, I mean, I'll just brief you through those aspects as well with the course content, which I'll be will be briefing now. I'll be showing through what is available, architectures available, and how we would be going with the training of this learning Dynatrace. Okay.
Okay, okay. And yeah, one question I have like,
Mhm.
so in order to work on this, we need to have a test environment, likewise, like because it is a tool which collects the data from
Mhm.
the real-time environment, right? So do
Mhm.
we have
Mhm.
any test environment on which this Dynatrace is going to, work on that?
Yeah, I'll just give you an highlight of this because anyways we'll be going through this or I'll be talking about this over. I explain the course content as well. We
Okay.
will have to use. I mean, it's good that we have our own laptops or systems, and I would be assisting you on how to access the trial version and what all the activities that we can do. So I'll show you few real-time examples and how things work, or how to implement on your test or lab environment and experiment over it. So it gives you quite a good confidence on real-time example how AppDynamics works. Sorry, I mean APM tool works. What are the functionalities of it? Yeah, I mean I'll be eventually talking about it while I brief you
Okay.
about the course content.
Okay, fine, fine. So if okay, after course content, if anything left over, I can reach to you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bye.
Are we good here? Shall we proceed?
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, great. Sorry that I have bad throat over now. I had got drenched in rain. It's been raining over here. So excuse me with my voice now. Okay. Yeah. As we proceed, I'll just walk you through what were the things that we'll be covering with this training. So I'll be briefing about what is APM is all about. I mean, you might be hearing quite a lot. This is gaining a lot of traction in the industry now. There are a lot of segments or departments in IT industry. These APM tools have been predominantly been used. Earlier, things were being used in one point of view. Now, APM has grown much bigger, and it's been used in different aspects in different segments of software development or software engineering. So we'll be talking about what is its role and where are what is APM tools is all about. Then we'll be okay. Let me just switch to the presentation mode. Why developers use Dynatrace and what is the role the performance tester use Dynatrace or an APM tool, and how does it help for a performance engineer? What is that results they are going to conclude with this APM tools, and how does it help an organization to come out? Parallelly, we'll also be discussing few real-time examples, saying that how each of these people or departments uh, employing Dynatrace or APM tools, how does it help them to come up with a better product solution? Okay, we'll also be discussing few real-time examples with that, and obviously the main subject, the Dynatrace introduction. This is what it's all about. Dynatrace has been an predominantly been used product across the industry. It has been market leader in different segments, either in the development industry or in the performance testers or in SRE or in DevOps engineering. Dynatrace has been predominantly used product because of the versatility it has got and the functionality it has been providing. So we are going to talk about it in the Dynatrace section. Okay. When we have one product, obviously there should be another competitive product that it should exist in the market as well, right? So we'll be speaking about what is the other competition we have for Dynatrace, what sets Dynatrace apart from its competitors, how it helps an organization or people having Dynatrace in their organizations. Okay. We'll also speak about, as someone in the team already mentioned, what is Dynatrace and its architecture, what are the available architectures we have been got, how to deploy Dynatrace in our environment. All this we'll be talking about as well. And as I said, we'll be walking through the installation process of an on-prem. How does, if you have to install Dynatrace on your organization environment where they have their own set of servers and they have own networks, everything. How do you install Dynatrace in your environment? We'll be walking through the steps of it, as we don't have a licensed product of Dynatrace with us, but we'll be walking through what are the inputs or values or available setups we can do from Dynatrace on on-prem installation. Okay. And coming into the main part of it, where this is the core subject of this APM tool entirely is about what is monitoring of Dynatrace. Okay, what are the monitorings that you can do from Dynatrace? Either it could be front end monitoring, application web service monitoring. When it is monitoring, you obviously need something to work, right? You can have an agent monitoring, agentless monitoring. What are the significances of it? What is the data that it shows to you when you make an agent to be installed on your systems, or if it's an agentless monitoring? Okay. Before I move on to the next slide, I'll take a pause here. I'll just wait for a moment from questions from you guys.
Yeah, hi. So you'll be showing how to install Dynatrace on cloud environment as well, like
No.
Kubernetes for monitoring Kubernetes.
Yeah, monitoring. Okay, installation is different, and monitoring the Kubernetes is different, right? So we'll be showing the actions or what all the slides or the GUI pages that you come across when you install the Dynatrace on an on-prem instance. That is what we'll be walking through it. But eventually, we'll be using the SaaS model or the trial model that we get as a trial. We will walk you through that and enable all the monitoring or perform all the monitoring through it. See,
Okay.
Dynatrace, we don't have an on-prem trial version. It's the SaaS trial version is where we have. We'll have to subscribe to that SaaS trial version, and we can explore the functionalities of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, we'll be talking about the browser's extension monitoring. When we do have to do an agentless monitoring, what is the system that we follow? That is where this browser extension monitoring talks all about. And we also create if there are limitations or restrictions on using extensions monitoring, and what is the way to enable monitoring using APIs. Okay, Dynatrace has pretty much many APIs being exposed, and how does these APIs helps an developer or a tester to build a better product, and what how do we use it? We'll be talking about that. And session replace is another concept in Dynatrace where we do the monitoring. Okay, we'll also talk about session segmentation, where what is the data or how the users have been using this Dynatrace, and what is the impact they have been foreseeing in different aspects of the monitoring web pages or applications they have been using. Okay, this will help us, a developer, to understand where the issue has been underlying in the application that's been developed, so he can go ahead and make the corrections and optimize the products. Okay, and what are the matrices that we can monitor, application matrices or infrastructure matrices that we can monitor using Dynatrace is something we'll be talking about eventually. And SLOs or service level objectives. This details about when an infrastructure or an application, the standard of the availability that it has to offer for an end customer, that is where the service level objectives will be defined. So any breach in the availability or service not being available, your application is not consistently available to the customers, then this service level objective is what will define those SLAs or standards. We'll try to configure an SLO objective and see what are the values that we can set up and how the organizations are thriving hard to meet these SLO objectives. Okay. And another beautiful concept of this Dynatrace is dashboards. We have quite an elaborative session about the dashboards where we'll be talking about what all the types dashboards that have been available, a classic dashboard or more complex dashboard. What are the monitoring aspects that we can bring into the Dynatrace? How do we align? How do we arrange? What is all the data that it can convey? So we'll be talking about all these things. Okay. Again, I'll take a pause. I welcome any questions here.
Hey, Samar.
Hi.
Hey, so in my company, we are using the Dynatrace One agent. So
Hmm.
in this session, we are covering the means the servers and applications and DB. So
Hmm.
so that part also covered in, and we have created the dashboards and alerts.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
alerts and dashboard will be the part of this, right?
Yes, my
So how to create the
further slides will be talking
application
about
and
it.
alert.
Yeah, yeah, my further
Yeah.
slides will be talking about the
Thank you.
same thing. So we'll be covering on a whole. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Okay, as someone said, we'll be talking about the problem analysis. What all when you enable a monitoring of an application, what are the things that you have to take care about, right? What are the issues that you encounter when you enable monitoring in your architecture? It could be anomaly detection, problem alerting profile, root cause analysis, visual resolution, right? Okay. We'll also take an example on how to, we will synthetically create an CPU saturation system and see if that alerting has been working. How does Dynatrace reflect that data? What is that we have to conclude from it? And also, we'll also try another practical session where we try to create an HProf or memory dump, and what is that information, and uh, what does that dump help in different teams. What do they do with those memory dump? We'll be talking about that. Either it could be a developer or a SRE or a performance tester. What information does it convey to each of these teams? We'll be talking about that. And as I said, problem notification, this is another important aspect, right? You just enable monitoring and you see that it has been everything has been happening on Dynatrace. That's not sufficient, right? You need that notification to be passed on to somewhere. It has to move on to the next level. Only then you would identify that okay, there is some real problem underlying with some of the application where the Dynatrace has been performing monitoring. So Dynatrace helps do to integrate many products. So predominantly used integrations like email notifications, Slack, ServiceNow notifications for auto ticketing, right? So this give an higher visibility of what is that impacting or what is that issue we have to critically prioritize and resolve it at the earliest, correct? So we'll also be briefing about few important concepts of ServiceNow as well. What is that ServiceNow providing as of today with this integration to Dynatrace? How do you function with Dynatrace? What are the concepts associated with ServiceNow? Okay, and we'll be discussing more about profiling and optimizations as well. As you know, as I already mentioned, Dynatrace is not just used by one team or either a developer or an SRE or an testing engineer, right? It has got its usage across all the departments in software engineering. Okay, how does it help analyze? What is that help it provides? Okay, what is that? For an example, this profiling and optimization. When I talk about how does it helps an test engineer to provide more insights into a developer? Okay, there is where memory dumps and heap dump analysis data helps in hand. Okay, any questions here? Okay, moving on. Yeah, the again, it's a process crash is another aspect of which would really help an application developer to analyze the underlying issue with the developed application. Okay, Dynatrace does help with this process crash analysis. We'll just try to have an practical example of this and see what is the data that we get out of it and how does it help an developer to work on these issues. Okay, and continuous CPU profiling. This is another concept of monitoring where Dynatrace offers the capability to allow how the application that is being developed is the CPU utilization been happening on the systems. Is there a way that you can optimize or tweak your product to efficiently use the CPU? Correct. I develop a product. I say that it's all good. I don't know, right? Unless it goes into the production and there is a real people using it, only then I know it whether my CPU throttling is all been good. Before we go into production, Dynatrace do help in analyzing your application, whether it's been properly been developed and is the CPU utilization on the servers being done right. Okay, and we'll talk about very important aspect of the APM tools or Dynatrace, the synthetic monitoring. So yeah, this is all the few major functionalities that sets apart from major monitoring tools or the general monitoring tools what we have in the monitoring in market. This synthetic monitoring is another aspect of APM tools where we discuss browser monitoring, where it provides the insights of how your application is been behaving when it is being live and people have been using it. We'll also talk about live examples. We'll see some stats how an optimally being developed application should work like or look like. Okay, and we perform HTTP monitors as well. Okay, and the management zones is another critical concept of Dynatrace, which a major organization they employ every time. Okay, I'll just show you what management zone really mean. Okay, I have certain set of servers. I have development. I have UAT. I have prod. Okay, it's not that all my servers has to be clubbed into one single group. I don't know. Me being a newly joined person, I don't want to see UAT or prod. So when I newly join into an organization, I really don't know which of the servers are in prod or dev or UAT. I need to be, if I have to do any changes in particular into one infrastructure, there should be a segmentation. I can't go ahead and directly do something accidental in a production or an UAT, right? So this management zone is something a beautiful concept in Dynatrace where it leverages or it shows you the details on how you can segregate your environment and you can apply specific types of monitoring on each type of environment that you have. Either it could be your different production or different setup of environments, UAT, test, development, prod, or it could be DC wise, data centers wise. Okay, there are many aspects of it. We'll understand what are the ways we can create a management zone for an organization or to a team. Okay, and we'll have the basic monitoring or the infrastructure monitoring concepts of Dynatrace. Dynatrace not only does the APM monitoring, applications monitoring, it has capability to do the infrastructure monitoring and OS monitoring. Okay, we'll explore how to do a process monitoring, how to create a custom process, how to enable monitoring onto it. Okay, then talking about services monitoring, it's another, as I said, uh, the service monitoring, not just infrastructure level or OS level, the other aspects of APM segment we'll be talking about. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, yeah. So we'll see that what is response times hotspot about. So you have enabled, you have your application on production, and people have been using it on day-to-day basis. And few users they do experience issue with your application being functioning, and they do report an issue, or you want to proactively identify where is the underlying issue with this product. Okay, this response time hotspot will help you to analyze what are the calls that has been happening in the background and what is that overall time taken for each actions to happen, where is the issues or bottlenecks been happening for the users in using the application. Okay, and we'll talk about what are the different aspects of your application monitoring that's giving data and how do you compare with the standards, details of the failures. You just get an information saying that this particular place is where you have an issue with. That information is not absolutely sufficient to analyze or given more in detail information, right? So you need to have a pinpoint information. Okay, this is the place where my data is been or my calls is happening or getting delayed. Okay, this functionality or monitoring aspects will give you more insight on how to pinpoint on the issue that has been happening in your application. Exception analysis and method hotspots, as I said, these are also again identifying or pinpointing the issues that has been happening in your application. Okay, service backtrace. So there is an application that's been going live, and you want to understand at what points or what clicks the user has been seeing issue, right? You don't have to go to customer or the end user all the time and say, hey, can you replay the session where you had been seeing the issue? We don't have to do that. We can enable the monitoring of it, and we can play the monitoring when user been having that issue, so that it will give you a real-time view of how the user had experienced the issue when the end user was being the application. Okay, This will help you to not just wait for the issue to happen when the end user is been working on it. Rather, it proactively helps you to identify or enable a monitoring at the background, and you can replay the session and understand where is the place that's been the hiccup for the end user. I'll take a pause here. Any questions here?
Yeah, hi, Samrat.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, for performance testers, so they would be working on like profiling and optimization itself, like in the storage issues like that itself.
Sorry, I lost you. Can you come again?
Yeah, for performance testers, like what would be the like role in this Dynatrace? This yeah
Okay.
tool,
Uh, I think you missed
like
my
profiling and optimization.
correct. So as I think I don't know if you had joined from the beginning. So when you have said performance tester, right? The his role is majorly to identify when the application is being
Bottlenecks.
developed, right? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So when the application is being developed by a developer, right? It's gone are the days where you develop the application and then you test it everything, then you identify the bottlenecks in your application. Not we are not doing that, right? So all these DevOps or SecOps, we do the real-time testing of the application. You develop in each module, then you test on each module of it. You understand whether the application has been functioning right. Okay, you can't sit every time and repeat or perform a certain set of actions every time, correct? Either it could be this example CPU throttling or the web page accessing, or if you want to identify radio buttons have been working fine, how frequently you can access the page, is it taking any long time to load each pages, how the database queries have been happening, right? So performance testers have been involved from the beginning of the application development. They do help the developers or application developers in testing these issues in the developed module or application. They do share the reports or analysis of their testing, and that helps the developer to identify if there are any gaps or changes that has to be done in the development. That
Okay.
answers.
Yeah. So you'd be starting in the initial stage itself, like performance testers. You mean to say?
Yes, we'll be going through, almost from the scratch. We'll try to keep things as simple as possible, because we have people joining in this session who are new to the industry or already working, or who would like to change their career from different role to an APM engineer or an tester, whatever it is, right? So we'll try to keep things as simple as possible, and we'll also have these practical sessions showing you through how the Dynatrace helps in different departments or sections of engineers to help in resolving their industry or business issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and we'll also try to set up an basic database monitoring, and we'll see what all the aspects of it we get information in Dynatrace. Okay, we'll just try to install an sample database in our test environment, and we'll see that how the database monitoring has been done, what are the matrices that it's been capturing, how do you interpret out data out of it. So that is something we'll be discussing as well. Okay, as I said mentioned earlier, Dynatrace is not just an APM tool. It has grown beyond it. So we need products that can do multiple functionalities, right? Earlier there used to be products that used to do only OS monitoring. There used to be separate products for Linux, or for Windows monitoring that used to be separate, and then for Linux or APM, right? This used to be always a burden for organizations to manage. Now people want, or the organization needs, one optimal solution which does addresses all of this, right? Because it does help them to reduce the cost or infrastructure cost. It could be, or it could be the resources or people who need in managing these applications, right? Imagine you have 4 to 5 applications which manages different aspects of your estate, or which provides different solution to your organization. So you have to invest so much on it that you need to have so many engineers providing service to it. So the products are grown into its length and breadth now, that one product has multiple functionalities where it can do your application monitoring, your host monitoring. It can also provide solution for testers and network traffic, all these things, right? So there is where all these products or the new age products that's been coming into the market stands apart. Host monitoring is another important aspect. We'll try to enable monitoring on these Windows servers, Linux. We'll try to install agents onto it. We'll see that what are the issues that we encounter while installing an agent, what are the possible ways we can resolve it, right? We'll be touching upon those concepts as well. Parallelly, we'll be also doing or resolving any issues that you do encounter in your lab environments while working on the sessions. Okay. And host networking, as I said, networking, it also do capture the network data that flows in and out of your machines. Either it could be a cloud infrastructure or your virtual machines. It shows what is the traffic that is being flowing in and out of your devices, right? We'll also be touching on concepts of what all the different technologies the Dynatrace do support, and what are the integrations that's been available. Uh, as I said, Dynatrace has grown in all directions. It can predominantly monitor or talk to all the major technologies. Either it could be cloud or your Kubernetes platforms, your Dockers, all these things, right? These are the major technologies that a developer or an DevOps engineer or an SRE teams they generally use, right? And the another predominantly heard word in the monitoring industry, in Dynatrace industry, is observability. Okay, what is observability is all about? What does it talk about? What does it mean in observability? What are the things that comes in Dynatrace in observability concept, right? So this is where the Dynatrace is another unique ability to showcase what in-depth or detailed analysis it has got. If you have an issue with a product, how do you interpret or narrow down the issue with your application and showcase where you can pinpoint the issue with an application and help you the business to grow better? Okay. Dynatrace, this is the unique feature called observability. Any questions?
Do we have any scope for learning in learning the AI ops? Yeah, automation.
That is what observability is all about, right? So when we talk about the observability, AIOps is another underlying technology under which it gives you the insight of where the problem is about, where all the connections have been traveling, what is the delay or time taken in each segment of your monitoring infrastructure or estate. So this is the AI ops is the underlying concept of your observability. Yes, we'll try to, while we enable all the practical sessions and implement monitoring onto the infrastructure, right? We do get data out of it. We'll do try to analyze how this AI ops or the observability component of it helps you to analyze. Okay.
Okay. Samad sir, and do we have any integrations? Talking about here integrations, API.
Mm, yes, we'll talk about integration with ServiceNow, how ServiceNow integration is required, what is the service it provides, why do we need it. We'll talk about integration with AWS or Azure, right? And we'll also talk about integration with testing tools like LoadRunner or Jmeter, as you see in the slide. So for a performance
Okay.
test engineer. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, also we have, do we have any concepts about the API integrations, which now it is emerging API?
Uh, API integration, there are there are so much of APIs available in Dynatrace that it you can create an application using API. You can make calls. You can test. You can run few checks using API. Yes, we'll be talking about all of this, and we'll also be touching upon the practical sessions wherever it is applicable.
Okay, okay. So in this content, it is not mentioned, so that's why I asked.
I think you missed my slides earlier. I said that integrations, various integrations
Oh
that
yeah,
we
integration
provide.
is there, but the API is not mentioned. Ah, okay, fine, fine. Yeah, got it, got it. Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
As I said, because content might be limited, but the concept what would be covering it would be a broader aspect. Either you if you are a Dynatrace engineer, what are the things that you want to know? What is an L1, L2, L3 activities of a day-to-day Dynatrace engineer looks like? And if you are an SRE engineer, what does it? How should you look Dynatrace into? What is the business solutions that you can provide using Dynatrace? Right? Where are the bottlenecks you can identify? Performance tester, how do you help an organization to develop a better product? What are the testings that you have to do? What are the functionalities that Dynatrace offer for a test engineer or a performance engineer? Okay, we'll be covering Dynatrace as much as possible in all these aspects of its functioning, and we'll try to get insight into wherever we get an opportunity to get a practical session of it. Right?
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, the next components, as I said, we'll be try to integrate with LoadRunner, Jmeter, and see how what is the data we can get or fetch from Dynatrace. Okay, what is the report that we get from LoadRunner? What is the information it provides to a developer? How do they work on it? This is something we'll be talking about, and we'll talk about more aspects which can help you attend an interview or if you get real time opportunity to work in Dynatrace, what are the frequent issues or topics that you would be working on? Okay. And lastly, we'll be covering few aspects that can help you to attend a Dynatrace interview or Dynatrace examination, and what are the predominantly answered or asked questions in the examinations. We'll be talking about those as well. Okay. So this has been all my course content. Okay. We'll be touching upon all these as much as possible in practically, and wherever possible we'll try to also parallelly do in your lab missions as well. I would request everyone, if possible, do attend your sessions with your laptops or your desktops, so that parallelly you can try it out in your environment and see how it's been reflecting into you, so it give you a more involvement into working with things. As in, when we get issues, we'll try to really. Okay. So you can see the same amount of information, what the course content would be, and all the information, what the topics we would be covering, everything in Isha portal. Okay, you can access Isha Training Solution.org website. They will have the Dynatrace training module being showcasing what all the subjects we have been covering or topics we would be discussing. And you can always contact Kumar sir here, mention number over here for your enrollments. I would really request everyone to enroll at the earliest, because Isha training team, they have been providing Dynatrace training at very nominal cost. Because if you go onto the market, you do have to provide or make different payments when you have to learn as an SRE view or an application developer or an test engineer, right? Isha has been providing all these services at a very minimal cost. I would request you everyone to enroll it soon, because from tomorrow we would be starting the paid sessions. Okay, where only people who have been joining after enrolling into the session would be getting the access to. Not everybody would be getting. So the reason I would request everyone to not to miss out on things, and please do contact Kumar sir at the earliest. The number has been mentioned over here. I'll just try to put it on the chat as well.
Samat sir, from tomorrow the class is starting and weekends also.
Right. So there won't be on weekends. The sessions would go from Monday to Tuesday. Sorry, Monday to
Right, right.
Friday from 9 to 10 p.m. every day.
Okay. One more question is like I'm from manual testing background. I
Mm-hmm.
want to switch my profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I came across this tool. So will it be helpful for me? How much it will be? Like, do you help in resume building and all here? That's kind of
Uh,
service is available.
Okay, when you say about the product, if I talk about Dynatrace as a product, right, you can go search online. You can see that how big the Dynatrace market is, right?
I
It's
know.
gaining a lot of
Mm.
traction. Okay, it's used in multiple MNC organization which are in Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 list. It's
Mm.
so if you need any further clarification on what are the services they do offer or what help you can get, I would request you to get in touch with Isha team. They would guide you on the queries what you had with. So on the technical front, we would be touching upon everything of Dynatrace offering. Okay, either it could
Okay.
be for an engineer or a tester, everything. So this do really help for you, you're building your career.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Samarth.
And one more thing, sorry, Ajit. Like if I 1 hour class session every day, how much like has you
Mhm.
suggest us to invest to really learn this tool?
Okay, yeah, I'll just brief about, yeah. Thanks for reminding. So this session is completely of 15 hours. So every day the session will be for 1 hour from 9 to 10 p.m. So I would be touching upon all the concepts, right? I would really request you to spend as much as time as possible into it. I would really request to go on to it, experiment on it. You have your trial versions. Almost all the functionalities or product features are being exposed in your trial versions. You just experiment with it. You touch upon all the functionalities or features that is available in each view, right? So it
Mm.
should roughly take some maybe a month or 2 months for you to be familiar with the product, to be confident. The more you try and experiment things, right, the better you feel about.
Okay.
Yeah, someone had more questions.
Yeah, hello, Samarth.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, are you providing means real-time environment to do the practice?
I will be guiding you through how you can have your real-time environment being set up. As I said, there is a SaaS offering, so I will be helping you on how to get the access to it and what are the actions what we have been doing in the session. Right, you try to replicate those actions in your lab environments or your
Yeah,
personal.
yeah. Because now, actually, I'm from the AppDynamics. Okay, I'm working from
Mhm,
last 4.11 years from in AppDynamics.
mhm,
Okay, so need even the good practice and knowledge of Dynatrace. So because my project
okay.
is going to move from AppDynamics to Dynatrace, so that's why I need.
Mhm. Yes, I think it would really help you to relate things since you already have the knowledge of AppDynamics, right? You can relate the
Yeah.
things that how things have been in AppDynamics and what is the similar actions you have to do to achieve that in Dynatrace. We'll be talking about that as well.
Okay. Are you providing any DOMs to crack the Dynatrace certified exam?
Uh, I